Hello and welcome to video lecture series in political science. Today we are going to discuss chapter 2 titled as End of Bipolarity from your class 12th textbook Contemporary World Politics. Now in this chapter we will discuss about end of bipolarity in the world, which is also called as fall of communism. For understanding we will divide this chapter into 4 parts. In these 4 parts we will discuss about what was Soviet system. What were the main problems with the Soviet system? Why did the USSR disintegrate? What is shock therapy? And what were the consequences of disintegration of the Soviet Union? Along with these, we will also discuss India's position during the post-Cold War era in the world or in international politics. So today, let's begin by understanding what is bipolarity and what was Soviet Union. As you know, the fall of Berlin Wall in Germany in 1989 was a dramatic event, and it led to a chain of events that affected the nature of world politics. In this chapter, we will discuss about some of these important events. These are the collapse of the Second World. You know the distinction between the First World, that is the developed capitalist world. The Second World is the socialist world, and the Third World includes all the developing countries like India, and many of the other Asian countries and countries from the Latin American and African continent. So in this chapter, we will discuss many things like the end of the Second World, the end of Cold War. We will discuss about the unification of Germany, which was divided between East and West Germany. We will discuss about liberation of East European countries and the disintegration of the Soviet Union. Now all these events together imply the end of bipolarity. And this chapter is also titled as End of Bipolarity. Now, to begin, let's understand what is meant by bipolarity first. Let's understand this concept. Now, bipolarity refers to the basic structure in the international system when it is dominated by two superpowers, such as by the US and the USSR during the Cold War era. The bipolar balance of power was also a superpower rivalry between the East and the West bloc, and a large number of states or nations aligned themselves with one or of the two major superpowers involved in this bipolarity, either with the US or with the USSR. Now what happened after the end of Second World War? As you know, the world got divided between these two blocs, and the superpowers, the US or the USSR, they supported different sides in various conflicts that occurred during the Cold War era in all the places all over the world, especially some conflicts in Africa and Asia, such as Vietnam War, which was again, the two sides were taken care of by the Russia and the US. Afghan War, again, this was an Soviet intervention, which often were the battlegrounds for the rivalry between these two blocs. Now, this era was characterized by fear and mutual suspicion between the two major powers. But fortunately, this confrontation never became a full-fledged military war. The Western Bloc, headed by the United States, was espousing ideas of capitalism and democracy, whereas the Eastern Bloc, headed by the USSR, was advocating ideals of socialism and communism. You have come across these two terms many a times. What are the differences between these two terms, that is socialism and capitalism? Let's discuss it briefly. The central division between the two schools of thoughts emerges from the idea of economic equality and the role of government. Now, while the capitalists believe in democratic form of governance and liberal markets, the socialists believe in central planning and controlled and authoritarian forms of government. The capitalists are open to the idea of market forces determining the efficient use of economic resources, and hence for them the role of government is comparatively less. On the other hand, the socialists believe that the government is responsible for reducing economic inequality in society. And how it can do? It can do so by programs and policies that benefit all the members in the society. And the mantra of socialism, that is the main motto of socialism, is that from each according to his ability to each according to his need. That is, You take work from somebody according to his ability and you give somebody according to his needs. The goals of economic equality in socialist society can be achieved through free or subsidized healthcare, education, social security, and by taking higher taxes from rich people. Now, taking care of needs of every citizen becomes the responsibility of state in the socialist structure. Whereas in capitalism, the role of state is less and development of economy is left on the market forces of demand and supply and competition among people. Whosoever wins the competition tends to amass more wealth. Now, the ideological war was rooted in this debate, that is, which system is better than the other. And the whole world got divided between these two blocks in terms of adopting which form of social and political organization. Now, after the end of Second World War, all countries of Eastern Europe that were liberated by the Soviet army from the fascist occupation came under the control of the USSR. These countries were held together by a military alliance known as Warsaw Pact, with the USSR being the leader of the group. Now, in this context, it is important for you to understand and remember the difference between two things. The USSR, that is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and the Eastern Bloc headed by the USSR. Now, what is the difference? The USSR was the union of subnational Soviet republics where the Russian SFSR, that is Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, also referred to as Soviet Russia, was the dominant republic among all. There were 15 in all, in which Russia was one. Which were the other 14 republics? Let's take their names out. The other countries in the republic were Ukrainian SSR, today also it's called as Ukraine. Uzbek SSR is Uzbekistan. Kazakh SSR is Kazakhstan, where SSR stands for Soviet Socialist Republic. Belarusian, which is called as now Belarus. Azerbaijan, which is known as Azerbaijan only. Georgian SSR is now Georgia. Tajik SSR is now known as Tajikistan. Moldovan SSR is Moldova now. Kyrgyz SSR is Kyrgyzstan. Lithuanian SSR is Lithuania. Turkmen is now Turkmenistan. Armenia SSR is now Armenia. Latvia is now Latvia. And Estonian SSR is now Estonia. Now, as you can see in this map, it shows Russia and the other nations within the USSR. And all these nations fall almost on the right hand side of the Russian land. Now, as you can see in this particular map, the extent of Russian SFSR, Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, which is red in color within the Soviet Union. And as compared to all other composing nation states which were there part of the USSR was the biggest in terms of area, territory, as well as in terms of the population. And this is the map of Russia after the Second World War during 1956. Now, all aspects of life in these countries were controlled by the Soviet-trained communist government under the direction of the Kremlin. These governments were assisted by whom? Secret police, militia, and party bureaucrats. And what was their method of control? Their method of control was an absolute control over people, to instill fear among people or masses and suppress freedom of any type. This ideological war became very intense when both the power blocs heightened the arms race against each other. Whereas the Eastern Bloc was a group of countries of Central and Eastern Europe, or nation whose political and economic system was socialist in nature. These countries were Romania, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Soviet Union, East Germany, Bulgaria, Albania, and Hungary. Now, along with these Central and Eastern Europe countries, there were other nations also that supported socialism and were aligned with the USSR during the Cold War. And these nations were spread all across the globe. It was not necessary that they were territorially or spatially close to the Russia. Now, the ideological divide between the two led to intense Cold War rivalry. We have already discussed about the Cold War in chapter 1. its most clear impact can be seen on the geography of Europe, where two groups were divided by the Iron Curtain, the East and the West. It will be interesting for us to see the map of Europe during 1980s, and the next two maps that we are going to see show the military and economic alliances of European nations with the two superpowers. Now, when we look at this map, this shows the Cold War military alliance. The color in red and light pink are countries that were bound by the Warsaw Pact, and the ones in blue and light blue are the countries which were the part of NATO and those who joined NATO after a gap of certain years. And in this map, you can clearly see the darkest pink color is Soviet Union, the light ones are the USSR aligned countries. The orange one, which is the only one country, Albania, it aligned with USSR only till 1960. The one in green was a non-aligned country, that is Yugoslavia, from where NAM also started. The grey color ones were the neutral countries, Finland and Switzerland, on the one in the middle and one on the top. The light blue colors are neutral countries but Western aligned countries. These were Austria, France, England and Sweden, and the dark blue ones are clearly Western aligned countries which were the part of the Western Bloc. The fall of Berlin Wall is a historic event in the recent past that changed the world politics and the world map forever. The Berlin Wall was constructed by the German Democratic Republic (GDR) in 1961. Why was this wall built? This wall was built when the Cold War was at its peak, and this was built in order to divide the city of Berlin into two parts. The Berlin Wall is considered to be one of the greatest symbol of the Cold War. After the end of Second World War, Germany was divided into four zones, each under the control of one of the Allied powers, that is, the United States, the United Kingdom, France and the Soviet Union. Similarly, the Berlin was also divided into four different parts. Now, as you can see in this map of Berlin city, on right hand side you see the East Berlin, which is the Soviet sector. On the left hand side you see three sectors, the French sector, the British sector and the American sector, which were the part of West Berlin. Now, in the second map we will see this blue line that encircles the western part of the city is the Berlin Wall, and the Berlin Wall stood from 1961 to 1989. Now, in this picture we can see the wall being constructed. The construction of wall is underway and you can see laborers working on this construction site. Now, this is a picture of the Berlin Wall which is dividing the east from the west, and this view is from the West Berlin side, and you can see graffiti art on the wall. This is taken in 1986. And on the left hand side you see a brown patch that runs along the wall, and this is called as death strip, where the guards had a standing shoot to kill orders against anybody whosoever tried to escape. Many people, in order to escape the tyranny of the communist regime on the eastern side, and they at times found some escape route from the wall and they wanted to jump across the western side. However, the guards standing next to the wall were given orders to kill anybody whosoever tries to escape. And what we see in this next picture is one of the very heart-rending picture, and it made quite a furore in media for a long period of time, where an 18-year-old young man called as Peter Fetcher, he was shot in the pelvis and he was left to bleed to death while trying to escape. Since while escaping and after being shot, he fell on the border strip of the east side. So, Western authorities and the bystanders were not allowed to help him, but instead watch him die. But as the US, UK and France were a part of the Western alliances as against the Eastern Bloc headed by the USSR, it was primarily a division between East and West. As you have seen in the map that it's four sectors, but out of four, three were the part of the Western alliance. So, the Berlin Wall was primarily dividing the city into East and West Berlin. USSR, being the leader of the Eastern Bloc, had adopted socialist system. Now, you may be asking a question, what was USSR actually? How did it emerge? What was the nature of economic and political organization under the socialist system? Let us understand this. What is USSR? As we have already seen in the map that USSR was the Union of Socialist Republics. The USSR came into existence in 1917 after the famous Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution is a name given to a series of revolutions that took place in Russia during 1917. Now, the revolution in February dismantled the Tsarist autocracy and it led to the creation of Russian SFSR. In this revolution, the emperor was forced to abdicate or leave the throne and the autocracy was replaced by the provisional government. Later in the second revolution, which occurred during the month of October, the provisional government too was replaced by the communist government or the Bolshevik party. This revolution was led by Vladimir Lenin, who was founder of the Bolshevik Communist Party. Lenin was a remarkable scholar who was highly influenced by the writings of Karl Marx, and Lenin played an important role in the overthrow of the provisional government and establishment of Russian Socialist Federation or Socialist Republic, that is a group of socialist nations. The Russian Revolution was inspired by the ideals of socialism in contrast to capitalism. It attempted to establish an egalitarian society based on the principles of equality and attempted to eliminate the institution of private property. As you know, in capitalism, private property was seen as an evil that led to social inequality and economic disparity, uneven development, and bringing many miseries to the working class. The Soviet political system, on the contrary, was based on the central role of the Communist Party, where economy was planned and controlled by the state. The union established after the Russian Revolution was a federation of 15 autonomous republics. Russia was economically the most developed republic of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union emerged as a superpower during the 1950s. Now, interestingly, the Union or the Soviet Union had developed an economy which was well advanced. It had a complex communication network and highly developed industrial base. The USSR made its mark in certain areas and field. The USSR was ahead in space race with the US. It almost matched the pace of technological development with the US in the initial years of development. And you would like to know that some of the brands in machines and tools were the world famous brands that came from the USSR. The USSR in fact excelled in heavy engineering as compared to most of the countries in the world. Let us look at some of the examples in the area where the USSR made its mark. Now, one is the space race, and the Sputnik, as you can see in the picture, was the first artificial Earth satellite that was launched by the Soviet Union in 1957. And Yuri Gagarin was the first person to go to space. In the counter-attack or to counter Russian invasion into the space, Mercury Redstone 3 or Freedom 7 was launched by the United States, and Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk in the space. This is a comparison between the computer sets available in the two respective countries, the USSR and the US. The Agathe series computer was produced by the Soviet Union, and the Apple II series is a set of home computers which was highly successful mass-produced computer. This was designed in the US. Now, take a look at the TV sets. These were the kind of TV sets which you might have not imagined seeing the present day TV sets, but these were produced in 1939. And the one in the Russian case, that is the KVN-49 or Koenigsegg, it ran in Russia from 1949 to 1960s. And these are some of the pictures of the toys that were made in the Soviet Union, and toys also show the kind of military power that was there with Soviet Union. And a very famous brand in the field of camera, that was Zenith. Many of the people from past decades, from 1970s to 80s, they vouch for this camera Zenith and its quality. This is a watch which is a women's brand, and then we have calculators which were manufactured by Soviet military industrial complex in 1968. The USSR had vast resources of energy and raw materials such as iron, natural gas and oil, etc. And it also had a well-developed transport sector which easily connected remote parts of the Union with one another. They also had an advanced industrial base and technology that helped them to excel in many of the areas, particularly production of heavy machinery, military equipment and weapons. In fact, the Soviet capacity was more or less equal to the capacity of the US. The domestic industry in the Soviet Union produced everything from small pins to the military tanks. Although the quality of the products produced in the Soviet system did not match the type of goods produced in the Western countries, but still the Soviet economy was fairly developed as compared to the rest of the world, but other than US. The Soviet state adopting the socialist pattern guaranteed a minimum standard of living for all the people in society. To conclude, let's summarize what we discussed in this particular part of the chapter. We started discussing what is meant by bipolarity, that is the division of world between two superpowers. We discussed about division of East and West bloc. We discussed about the history of emergence of Soviet Union and its constituent republics, the other 14 republics. What was Soviet Union? The system that organized its polity and economy on the basis of socialism, and we looked at various areas in which the Soviet Union excelled. We also briefly looked at some of the pictures related to Berlin Wall, its construction, and how it was a curtain between East and West Europe. In the next part of this chapter, we will discuss about the nature of Soviet economy. Till then, you can enjoy reading this part of the chapter. Thank you.